It's my pleasure today to introduce an individual, Joe Kurmaskie. Joe is a director of Washco Bikes in Hillsboro, a nonprofit that leads a Bikes for Kids program. Also known as the Metal Cowboy, Joe is an award-winning journalist and a father of 4 grown sons. His book, Metal Cowboy, 10 Years Down the Road Less Pedaled, recounts stories of life on a bike with his family. Before Joe comes to the stage, I just wanted to share his partner has also 2, so they have 6 teenage boys that eats them out of house and home. Joe, heart comes out to you. Come on up, buddy. Thanks. Well, while he's coming up, I'll share with you that I had the pleasure of meeting him last year, and we worked together on the free Bikes for Kids that I talked about last night. He was the impetus behind 2,700 bikes. Joe.
Give me that. Hey, I'm here. Can you guys hear me? I'm mic'd. I'm like an honorary Italian, so I don't even need this podium right now. So I'm here because of Jim and Mark Waller and a number of others that I've met this weekend. I am Joe Kurmaskie, AKA the Metal Cowboy, and I have misspent my youth on a bicycle, and it has made all the difference. A few things I want to get out of the way. I'm really the Forrest Gump of the pedal, but 250,000 miles later, I don't worry about counting miles. I measure these adventures in wonder and joy and laughter and connections like the connections I've made this weekend with you guys. But Jim has asked me to really fill you guys in on some of the stories about the adventures with those boys. And Jim, you undersold that. 6 boys and groceries and the names. I just want to go give you guys the names real quick. There's Quinn, Enzo, Mateo, Sawyer, Eamon, and Edwin. A buddy of mine who's a best-selling author said, "What are you doing up there? Are you raising boys or Italian race car drivers?" But it has been my joy, my biggest joy, beyond being a writer and a speaker, and is being a father. And it has been amazing. Before I became a father, though, I got into all kinds of good trouble on that bike. I've been hit by the smallest car in Ireland. I've been treed by geese in New Hampshire. I have ridden with the B team of Elvis impersonators in the Utah desert. Thank you very much. Thank you, thank you. We have video, because people don't buy my street cred until they see the video. We have video of me being chased along the Limpopo River in Zimbabwe by a 12,000-pound elephant. And I have to tell you guys, you become an Olympic sprinting athlete when a 12,000-pound elephant is on your heels. You want to roll that real quick for me? Just we'll go. I think we may have gone too far. This looks like Mutual of Omaha. We'll get it back. We'll get it back. But let me set that aside and tell you that a few more things about me before we get into the adventures with the kids. Lover of pie, key lime if you have it. Met all kinds of amazing folks. We're going to talk about Robin Williams and his love for the bicycle in a minute. But having those boys on bikes gets us into all kinds of good trouble, all kinds. When they couldn't read, it was a little easier. I could get us into trouble that they didn't actually know was coming. Sometimes, though, we'd pull up to, say, a lake, and the sign on the lake would say, they'd ask me, "Can we swim, Daddy?" And we'd look at the sign, and it would say something like, "Leeches in the water." They didn't need anything else on that sign. They did not need one more word. The government didn't need to spend any more of our money addressing us. Instead, right below that, it said, muddy bottom, uneven surface, no lifeguard. You had me at leeches, boys. You had me at leeches. But then when they learned how to read, it got even worse. We're outside of Yellowstone. Somebody had directed us to a nice campground. I am not going another mile. We have ridden 110 miles that day. I've got flapjacks on the grill, got my feet in. It looks like something out of Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kids out there in Montana. Oh, it's beautiful. And one of my boys wanders off to the side at the campground. And he says, Daddy, what's a grizzly bear relocation drop zone? One of my favorites, though, is a story I wrote about called I Was the Rosie Ruiz of STP. Anybody know who Rosie was? Somebody in the audience? We got the right crowd for this. Rosie was, I see some hands in the back. Rosie was I like to believe after this story happened to me, I side with Rosie now. I understand her story better. She just got in the wrong cab in the Boston Marathon. She wanted them to take her to the starting line. They just dropped her off 100 yards from the finish line. So she came running across the finish line, and that crown of triumph that they put on her turned into a crown of thorns when they found out she had just sprinted 100 yards that day. Now, I was the Rosie Ruiz of STP. And STP is that Seattle to Portland ride. And I've done it. I've done it numbers of times. Just not in the year this story takes place. I was asked to speak at the finish line party. Rally the troops, be the Bob Hope, get those folks excited. It turns out, though, that Cathedral Park is 1.4 miles from my house on Willamette Boulevard in Portland. No problem. Got up that morning. Oh, it was one of those 5 peak days here in Oregon. You know the one. Oh, glorious July day. We put on our risky business sunglasses. We had just come from a July 4th parade the day before. So I had this getup, bicycle, trailer bike, trailer, all strung up with floaties and streamers and Roman candles. We looked like an eco-friendly refugee from a gay pride parade. I loaded it down with kids and books, and we were not low profile. And as we pedaled, glorious, right there on Willamette Boulevard, mountain behind us, I came upon, it looked like salmon in a stream. All those riders coming down from Seattle that have worked their tail off to get from Seattle to Portland, Oregon. And I try to avoid it, but I get caught in the maelstrom. I get caught in the stream. And these people, they're like, how did we miss this guy? What? Oh my goodness. They surrounded me like the Pope. They gathered around me. They escorted me in. I was getting like a 14 escort in. They would not let me out. I kept trying to get out of the stream. And as we came over the top, it went from bad to worse. I heard the drums beating down below. I shit you not. Chariots of Fire music began playing. Da, 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 da. We're over the top. I whisper to the boys, cute and cuddly, boys, cute and cuddly. Low profile. As we come over, low profile to my boys means these guys have ridden all the way from Seattle to the Washington Monument that summer before. Nobody gave them a medal. Nobody said, good job. They just went back to school. This was their moment. They thought this entire thing was set up for them. They're 5 and 7 years old. My 7-year-old, I look back, he has taken a lightsaber out of somewhere. He is riding with one foot just balancing on the thing. And I kid you not, people were pushing other deserving folks out of the way, just pushing them out of the way. You had PTA mothers just tossing their kids aside. Oh my God, look at that. You had retired veterans saluting us as we came by. Oh, and then it gets worse. I hear this roar come up, and I look back again. My other child, my 5-year-old, has taken that Chariot trailer. He has swung the top open. He has clipped out of the 5-point safety harness, and he has assumed a position of Princess Di. He is waving his hands, and it is a de facto Pope-mobile. I look back, this is chaos now. This is just insane. I swear to you, as we were pulling in, I saw children running at us with dried flowers and chiclets. I saw that guy from the 1970s commercial, the Native American with the one tear. He was actually Italian, but the Native American with that one tear just off to the side. We pull in, and I don't know how I'm gonna get control of this thing, because the director of the organization, who I knew well, he's coming at me with medals. Medals for going 1.4 miles. My son, proudest SOB on the planet, he wants his medal. About damn time. He's standing up on the trailer bike. Yes, lay it on me. The only thing I can think of is to grab this guy in a bear hug. I got to keep that medal off me at all costs. I pull him close. And I say, Gary, I have not just pedaled from Seattle to Portland. He pushes, his lip quivers a little, holds me out, and he says, it's okay if it took you 2 days. No! I learned at that moment, in our America, if given the truth or the show, they're gonna take the show every time. At that moment, I decided to try and center myself. I had a show to do. And, fraud's is a burden. It's a heavy burden at that point. But I set it aside. I rolled the boys behind the stage. And then it goes from bad to worse. My lie with a couple of thousand friends is about to go regional. There she is. You guys have her in your town. We have her. Kelly Day from Fox News. She's wandering the grounds looking, and it's getting close to deadline. She's wandering, looking for that story. And she's interviewed me 2 or 3 times before over the years. She sees me, she sees my son with medals, she sees the gay pride parade vehicle, she sees it all, and she comes running at us. I mean, literally, I've never seen a newscaster run. Cameraman, come on! Joe, Metal Cowboy, this is fantastic. Put that boy up on your shoulders in 3, 2, 1. I would love to tell you guys that I froze like a deer in the headlights, that I confessed my sins to the tri-county, if not statewide region. But when I saw that green light go on and that camera hit me, I turned into Bill Clinton. I knew what is, was, and always would be. I felt good. I felt cool as a cucumber. I felt solid. I felt calm. I felt like telling the truth. And Kelly, consummate professional. She nailed it. She nailed that thing. Cameraman works, slow pan over the entire menagerie, the 15 feet of trailer bike, books, everything. And as he's doing that, Kelly says to me, Cowboy, how does it feel to have pedaled all that way with this precious cargo? I looked. I said, Kelly, Feels like I just left my doorstep 10 minutes ago. While technically not alive. So those are the kind of adventures we've had on our trips. And I have so many more in the books there. They're turning one of my books, Metal Cowboy, into a TV series. And Lightning in a Saddle, the book that hasn't come out yet, has been purchased by Island Pictures. We'll see about it becoming a movie. And that one I'm super excited about. It's my historical nonfiction about this equality pioneer in the 20s and 30s, the female Jackie Robinson of the bicycles in Britain. And she trained with and rode against the Tour de France winners. In fact, Henry Pelsier, the 1923 Tour de France winner, gave me the title for the book. In a Plath newsreel, he said, "You gents are just lucky our Gladys doesn't get to race against you because you guys are plow horses and she's lightning in a saddle." So she lived and loved on her own terms and rode on her own terms in a time when it was dangerous to do so, much like today in many ways, because we're still fighting misogyny and sexism and all those sorts of things. But the tagline for that book and movie is, "She fought for a country that would not let her race." Here's this Seabiscuit story in the first half of the book that I did the research for. And then it was like diamonds on a beach. I looked over my shoulder. How did we not know about this story? She gets trapped in France during the occupation, and she could have gotten out. Instead, she takes over a bistro and becomes a member of high up in the French resistance, the SOE. And she stores information that they take in the restaurant, listening to the Gestapo, puts it in her handlebars and gets it back over to England. She was sending so much actionable intelligence over that they had meetings. De Gaulle and Churchill, who hated each other, had a meeting to plan the invasion of Crete in her bike shop in Hall Street. So it's an amazing story, Lightning in a Saddle. And I want to tell you that I went through, I'm going to get serious with you guys because we have a celebration of life coming up here. And I'm just lucky to be here, still singing my song, off key as it is. About 5 or 6 years ago, I had a grave diagnosis. I have a genetic disorder called hemochromatosis. And my iron level was so high, they said they didn't know how it was still standing up, let alone riding the bike to the doctor's office. So I was a country music song there for a little while. I was in the hospital 6 or 7 times, just breathing in and breathing out. It ended, I lost my mom, my sister at that time. It ended my marriage, all sorts of things. But I came out of that with more gratefulness, more chopping the wood and carrying the water service. I said, and it wasn't a one-off, I already was doing those things in my life. But I said, if I get a little more time out here, if it's just a smoke break from the Grim Reaper, and he's gonna send me back in, I'm gonna do everything as long as I can, as hard as I can, for each other. And I'm gonna end with a story about somebody else you all know. You don't know him personally, but you all know him. As a journalist for big magazines like Outside and Men's Journal and Bicycling, which I was a columnist for about 10 years, I got to punch so much higher than my weight. I got to interview Robin Williams. Oh my goodness, this was a Make-A-Wish Foundation day for a stand-up comedian, speaker, writer, satirist. They said, oh yeah, Robin Williams, Matt Damon next month, but Robin Williams this month. And they said, you get 30 minutes on the phone with him. What they didn't know is that I had already met Robin Williams. When I was 19, working as a summer camp counselor in San Francisco, well, I met Robin Williams in a certain way. And I described this to him the first 2 seconds on the phone. I said, Robin, we've met before. It was at the Toy Boat ice cream parlor in San Francisco. He goes, oh yeah, I like ice cream. I said, I didn't actually meet you, but you scared the hell out of me because there was this sort of, it looked like a tarantula from South America. It was just so hairy and moving. It was your right hand reaching over for a napkin. And I said, so Robin, I've met your right hand. That is not something you say to Robin Williams. That man on the other end of the phone started laughing. He said, oh, I'm real acquainted with my right hand, Joe. And for the next 5 minutes, he was off and running on Robin Williams' masturbation jokes. It was just chaos. And I had so much fun on the phone with him because it really was a Make-A-Wish Foundation. He and I just were playing off each other, and I was getting that. It was like a two-man show for nobody in an empty room on the phone. And 25 minutes into this, I realized I am failing miserably as a journalist. I got 5 minutes, and the piece is called 10 Questions About the Bike. And I'm on question 3 at best. So I had to dig deep, lads. I had to dig deep. I dove right back in, and I said to him, you know, Robin, when I wrote the book, Metal Cowboy, the bike for me turned out to be a time machine and a magic carpet ride. He interrupted me right there. He said, You wrote Metal Cowboy? And at that moment, it went from that Robin Williams we all know on stage to a different guy. It went to a guy, it was just 2 guys on the stoop, just talking about bicycles and life. And he spent the next 45 minutes on the phone with me, just talking about what that book meant to him, how much fun the bicycle was. I got 40 questions answered in the next 45 minutes. But I did something as a journalist. It's a little sketchy. It's a little on the line. It's not riding 1.4 miles on Willamette Boulevard, but it's a little sketchy. I did what journalists do. When somebody says, I said, my question to him was, so how has the bike changed your life? And he said, oh, the bike, Joe, has extended my life by years. And as a journalist, if you say something back to somebody and they say yes, then you can use your quote rather than theirs. It's a little on the gray side. But I said back to him what I wanted to be the pullout in the article. I said, so what you're saying to me, Robin, is the bike saved your life. There was silence on the other end. And Robin said, that's not what I'm saying at all, Joe. He said, that bike did not save my life because nothing in this world, Joe, can save your life. Life ain't meant to be saved. It's meant to be spent. And all we have to do, Joe, is ask ourselves how and where and with whom we're going to spend what remains. I got to tell you, man, that was like a Good Will Hunting moment. I was like the poor man's radio version of Matt Damon. It was just a moment. And for me, that has stuck with me. And when we lost Robin Williams a few years back, I thought to myself, you know, I got to spend a little time of it with him. And I got to know his heart a little bit. And I think that the way to spend the rest of ours is just the way you guys do. That's why Rotary and Kiwanis and all these service clubs that I talk to and get involved with and do projects with are so meaningful. You guys are the glue that really does hold our communities together. And I don't mean that esoterically. I mean that I watched you guys help us gather 1,400 bikes 13 days ago. And we're going to refurbish those bikes this summer. And I'm going to ask all of you that are nearby in Portland to come out to Merrillhurst and refurbish those bikes with us. You can come out and clean them. And we had the Kiwanis and the Rotarians there the other day, Jim. I don't know if I told you this. We had so many of both clubs that I got out tricycles. And we did a trike race out in the parking lot. I gave the Rotarians the dark red ones and the Kiwanians the pink bikes, you know. I just want you guys to know. But at any rate, I don't want to hold you any longer. It's my 20 minutes are up. But when we go into the celebration of life, I want you guys to take with you that life is not to be saved. It's meant to be spent. And I get up every morning thinking how best to spend what remains of mine. Thank you guys very much.
When an elephant's
I'll
waving its
have
ears at
books
you.
outside. Books outside, and they all go to charity. They all go to our Free Bikes for Kids. All the profits go to Free Bikes for Kids.
Saying hi.
Oh, do I
It
get
really
to stand on
means
this with you?
I'm mad as hell, and I'm not going to take it anymore. You don't want to get caught flat-footed on a bicycle in sand when an
Oh,
elephant
we got it.
decides to
Okay,
jump.
hold on. That's me. There's no... You do not have to be faster than the elephant, just faster than that poor son of a bitch riding right beside you. That's what I tell people. Also, it's always good when you go to Africa on a charity bike ride like that to bring two change of bike lycra shorts. I'm sorry, I'm supposed to be done. I apologize.
Joe, I want to give you this gift from Rotarians. This is not just a gift from our district. This is a special gift because this is actually handmade by Rotarians of the greater Clark County region of Vancouver.
Oh my
so
goodness.
It's got a little Rotary emblem there. I want to thank you for spending part of your life with us today.
Thank you.
Thank you for bringing that message to us. And what a fun presentation. Thank you.
Hey, I'm a woodworker, so this means a lot to me.
It's a gorgeous tray.
Thanks, you guys.
Thank you, Joe. Wow.
Leave no book unturned.
Oh, darn, I thought those were mine. I know I can go get them out there. Thank you, Joe. That was really a great presentation. Sure, like you, I was crying out of joy on a couple of those jokes, which was a little change.